What's going on, y'all? So, I felt it on my heart to say this to everybody, um, especially in my community. Um, express this to everybody. Everybody needs to get a blood panel done, a complete blood panel. I'm not just talking about cholesterol and glucose levels and ADL or LDL levels and HDL levels, A1C. I'm talking about check your magnesium levels. I'm talking about check your leukocyte levels, your lymphocyte, everything. You need to start doing all of that because, I mean, honestly, I didn't start. The only reason I went and checked got a complete blood panel going is because I was in a real detrimental health situation where I couldn't walk for 4 weeks. I think I told y'all about this before. And so it kind of forced me to go and get that done because I did go to the hospital, and I'm not so much into Western medicine. I feel like it does have its benefits, but I'm very, very careful about what I allow them to do to me, what I allow them to, I use them to monitor my health, but um, ultimately I'm going to seek alternative treatments once I really get to the bottom of what's going on with me. I'm walking now, of course. I'm actually working my job requires me to walk a lot, which I like because of my illness, my ailment. I've gained a lot of weight and I'm not happy about it. I just did what the doctor told me to do. He just told me to eat and rest, and I did, and I gained a lot of weight, and I'm very upset about it. Kind of depressed, actually. Trying to lose the weight. It's not been easy, but nonetheless. So the thing about going to the hospital is they're only going to check the life-threatening check for life-threatening ailments. I use the word ailments. There's another word I want to use. The word doesn't come to mind, but ailments. They're only checking for life-threatening ailments. So being that they didn't find anything too alarming, they sent me home. And I barely even made it home. Like I said, I could barely walk for like 4 weeks. Like I literally couldn't walk. Like just sitting up like this in my bed, I would get dizzy. I'd have to lay like flat on my back, and even that made me dizzy. The only thing that they found was my neutrophils, but the symptoms that I was having wasn't congruent with the neutrophil lack thereof issue. Even though that is an issue, that's something to be looked into, but that wasn't what was causing me to lose feeling in my legs. At first I thought it was, but the thing is, I think you can go to my profile and review the other video, and it'll explain how I came to that conclusion. But nonetheless, so that wasn't what was causing me to lose the feeling in my legs and the feeling in my body, and extreme fatigue, the dizziness, and stuff like that. So I needed more answers. So I went ahead to my primary doctor and explained to them what was going on. And I ended up going to the cancer center and getting a complete blood panel. I talked to the doctors over there, and then they sent me back to the doctor's office to get a complete blood panel. So that's what they did. And so come to find out, not only was my neutrophils, and this was 3 months ago, they've been monitoring, I've been getting blood panels every 3 months. And so neutrophils, if you don't know, it's a component of the white blood cells. You have your, it's like a, how do I say it? It's like neutrophils are part of your white blood cells. It's like its own separate cell, but it's still a white blood cell. And those are cells, the white blood part of the white blood cells that fight bacteria. They fight infections. They fight infections that come from bacteria. Then you have your leukocytes that fight infections that come from viruses. So you just have different components of, which I never had that before. No, I do have a history of having the like leukocytes. But they happen to be normal at that time. Not too long ago, before this time, I was dealing with the leukocytes, which was the virus, which is probably why I had caught COVID 6 times during the COVID, which was wild. So my leukocytes must have been low at the time, but they seem to be normal now, right? At the time. So this was about 3 months ago. So, and then they said that my vitamin D was low. And then, so I didn't take my vitamin D for quite some time, because even though it's a prescription, it's a supplement. Like I said, I still didn't trust it. I'm not big on supplements either, but once I was told that, listen, if you don't take this, you're gonna end up in a wheelchair, I went ahead and started, taking the vitamin D. I mean, it is just a supplement. I don't have to take it for very long. It's just I take it once a week for 4 weeks. No, for 12 weeks. So I gotta take it for 3 months. Next month will be my last refill. So we're gonna see how I feel. Not to mention, when I went back to the doctor, they wanted to go back and do some more tests to see what else they could find. And I told the doctor, I was experiencing some twitching in my fingers, and so she put me on magnesium as well. Magnesium was dangerously low. So then, fast forward to just recently, like yesterday, I went and got a follow-up. No, they did. So the first, okay, so these are the results that came from the last time I got a they took one thing of the, okay, so EDTA is a whole blood. I think it's the lavender top. I think it's whole blood, is it? I think. I know anytime you see a lavender top, I just graduated. I just got my actually I just got my certified. I can't even talk. I just certified in my phlebotomy, for phlebotomy. I just got certified. I just passed my exam for my certification of phlebotomy, however I say it. I just got my certification. I just passed the NHA exam, but for phlebotomy. Anytime you see a purple top, I believe it's whole blood count. I don't know, because it has EDTA in it, which is, I didn't know they were gonna find that have those findings in a purple top. I'd have to go back and look. Nonetheless, apparently, come to find out, because the last time I went to the doctor's office, I was only dealing with the neutrophils, and I was dealing with the vitamin D deficiency, and then I had some, was it bilirubin or something that was through the roof? Something that was through the roof. Some elevated levels of something. I can't remember what it was exactly. They might be in my Quest. It might be in my, but I had some elevated levels of something, which was new, because the last time I got tested, it was normal. And then not only am I now dealing with my neutrophils being deficient, I think it's my lymphocytes which are deficient. Is it my leukocytes or my lymphocytes? Which I've had issues with my leukocytes before, but now it's my lymphocytes and my monocytes. So this is my thing. This is why I was talking to my sister, which is, it's just telling. It's very telling. This is where cancer comes from, y'all. This is what made me realize, like, cancer isn't something that just happens overnight. cancer is something that develops over time, or you've always had, or something that has been dormant and has been transpiring. It could be since birth. It could be since the time you were 11 years old. It could be since the time, who knows? But at the end of the day, it's not something that just happens overnight. Think about it. You know what I'm saying? Because just 3 months ago, I was not dealing with, and now my iron is deficient, which I've dealt with that too. It's not nothing new. My hemoglobin, nothing really new. It didn't surprise me. But dealing with these leukocytes and my white blood cells being deficient, I was dealing with it when I was back in Las Vegas with COVID, but it was only my leukocytes that was kind of alarming. And I was getting my panels every 3 months out there as well. And apparently they must have came up, because when I went to the hospital, like I said, for the main reason was because of me not being able to walk. The only thing they found that was kind of alarming was my neutrophils. But now I'm back to fighting, to dealing with low blood cell counts in my I think they said the lymphocytes or the leukocytes, the monocytes. So again, this is really where cancer comes from. This is where it starts, basically. And so many people, how do I say this? So many people they only go get blood panels it's common to get blood panels for your LDL levels, your HDL levels, your A1C, your glucose, your cholesterol, but we don't think about the cellular level, just the basic vitals, so many, which are preventable diseases. Like, I don't have any issues with my cholesterol. I do have some sugar issues, but low blood sugar, and my heart rate, my blood pressure, tends to be a little on the low end, and so they like to monitor that. I've had blood pressure that's like 90 over 65. I think I've had it, I've had like 80 over, some crazy. Like, how are you still breathing? I don't know. I have a healthy heart. But this is really where it starts, is these things that we're not even thinking about. You don't think about because you're healthy, you know what I'm saying? You get the sniffles here and there, and I've been sick. I can tell you, I've been sick a lot lately. I've been getting sick. Like, I don't know if it's my allergies or just me getting sick, period. You know what I'm saying? Because, Florida is a new environment. It's a lot of humidity, probably a lot of pollen, but even in Las Vegas, there's dust everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But it is a different climate. Going from a very dry climate to a very wet climate may just take some acclimating to. But not only that, it's just me not getting enough sun because it rains all the time here. I never had these issues in Las Vegas, although like I said, I was dealing with the leukocytes, my low white blood cell counts, but I wasn't. And after the COVID thing was over, though, because I stayed out there for 4 years. After that kind of settled down, I did pretty well. I was in shape. I was healthy. I was fit. I was in shape. I had everything going for me while I was out there, as far as like just my health, for the most part. I think the most hurtful, the most painful part right now for me is just the weight gain. But nonetheless, this is basically just me saying, to the, as a public service announcement. I don't know how many people this is going to reach, but I urge everybody to get, I don't know, biannual, at least once a year, because like even my auntie, she's in Cleveland, and, I guess she gets her mammograms all the time, and they caught the breast cancer very quickly. And I think she just had them cut it off, which is, I feel like she You know, that was her decision. Though I'm not so quick to just let them cut me open, but they do want to do a biopsy. You know, a bone marrow biopsy to find out what's causing my, you know, because like I said, what's causing my blood levels to continue to decline, because I didn't have these issues 3 months ago. Now I have deficient iron, deficient monocytes, deficient leukocytes, deficient in vitamin D, which, well, I think and I'm taking vitamin D pills, and I don't think they've gotten any better. In fact, I think they've gotten worse, which is, I mean, I don't, you know, and it's crazy because my legs, they still give out on me. Deficient iron levels, deficient hemoglobin, and then I have some elevated levels. I don't know, phthalates or something, folates. I think it's folates, elevated folate levels, which I don't know what that means. To be honest, I don't know what the harm in that is. I mean, obviously too much of good stuff is bad stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not sure exactly what that's going to do for me, like what it's going to do to me rather. But this is exactly where it starts here, is these little things, these little like changes in your blood content. But the thing is you're not paying attention. You're not even thinking about it because you're healthy, you're happy, you're running around with the children, and, you know, doing this and doing everyday life. And I mean, you don't feel sick, right? And then all of a sudden you just collapse, you know, and next thing you know, you're in the hospital, and it's like, well, you have cancer. Like, what? You're surprised. But this stuff has been transpiring maybe 15, 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You went to the hospital, you got the sniffles, and you just felt so sick. They're like, well, we don't see anything wrong. There's nothing in here. There's nothing in, you know, we took some blood samples, and we you know, and we didn't find anything life-threatening. But you never went to follow up with your doctor because there's nothing threatening. So they just gave you some medicine to help with the symptoms and sent you home. You got to feeling better, and you went on about your business, and you never looked back, right? So then, you know, again, 15, 20 years later, all of a sudden, I mean, think about it. I could ignore it. I mean, think about this. Like, if I never lost my legs, I wouldn't even be thinking about this right now. But think about this, though. Say I never went to the hospital. I never lost my legs. Never was not able to walk. I never would have thought of going to the hospital to get complete blood panels. But say 15 years from now, I'm in the hospital, and this stuff has been transpiring for 15 years. I'm 36 now, you know what I'm saying? So imagine 15 years later, I never even thought about doing a blood panel because it never occurred to me, because I was okay, right? And you seem to be okay right now, right? But now I'm 45, you know, 50, 60 years old, and all of a sudden they're telling me I have cancer. But this isn't something that just popped up. It's been transpiring, because obviously that's just how quick it can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how quick it can happen, man. And I don't even know if anything, it is kind of like, because I do so much I've been, you know what I'm saying? And I've kind of fell off the bandwagon, you know, I've been eating bad lately, because it's like, and I know, like, I'm supposed to be up here in my vibrations and stuff, but right now I'm feeling like I'm right here, because I've always been healthy. Like, I've always been active. I've always been conscious. You know, I haven't been eating the greatest. As I elevate in life, as I've elevated, I've cut a lot of stuff out of my diet. I found ways I found alternatives, and I read ingredients and all of this stuff. But, you know, certain things are preventable, but certain things are just not. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying for this lady to help me, but she can't really, oh, well, just eat God's food. Okay, but you're not telling me what to eat to combat this, though, this specific thing. You're only talking about things that most people deal with because they don't know how to eat right. You're talking about glucose, and okay, I don't have those issues. I have deficiency issues in my blood, and you're not telling me You're just telling people how to like get rid of cholesterol and get rid of diabetes, but those are common things. I'm dealing with some rare things right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be on medicine, but can't nobody help me. I don't want to do chemo. I don't want to do none of that stuff. Now they want me to get a biopsy. I don't want to do that, but nobody's helping me. Nobody can tell me nothing. And what? I got to pay $100,000 to get some real help. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go get chemo or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to have to do, but it's scary to me because I haven't even taken an over-the-counter drug in years. I haven't taken I haven't even taken so much as a Midol, a Tylenol, I haven't taken none of that stuff in years. And I don't want to stick a big old needle in me and stuff, you know? It's just last week, like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I don't know. I just urge everybody to start getting their blood panels because this is where it starts. But I'm lucky to catch it now, you know? I just don't want to get put under, but at the same time, like, that needle is huge, but I don't want them to put me under. I don't want to get put under for this. And then plus my insurance is not the greatest, so you know how they treat people with no insurance or cheap insurance or whatever, like. Yeah, so I think no matter whether or not you feel good or not, you need to get a blood panel, a complete blood panel. I mean, you know, at least once or twice a year to make sure your levels aren't, you know, fluctuating. Because it can be, you know, I'm catching it now. But imagine this happening, like my blood levels declining and me not catching it until maybe 5-10 years later. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be scared. You know, I'm not really scared of death. I'm scared of living miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not scared of death. Like, if I'm gonna die, at least make it quick and painless. But this is not the way I want to go. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be fat. I want to be in shape. I want to look good. I want to enjoy looking at myself. I want to enjoy my life, but now, shoot, you know, I don't know if it's a God thing. I don't know, you know, because I done came out of religion. I don't even know right from wrong anymore at this point because everybody thinks they know something. Everybody thinks they know the way. I done came from Christianity to Hebrew Israelite to I don't even know what I'm in now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just on good energy, good vibes, positive reinforcement. But everybody has their own truth, but that don't mean it's the truth. It's not something I can accept either. I want the truth. I don't care about your truth. I want to know what the truth is. And that's the one thing that, the scripture, because everybody has their own interpretation of that too. So am I not allowed to be sad for what I'm going through right now? Since nobody can judge, and it's you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing about the scriptures is, if you read it for what it says, nobody's supposed to have their own private interpretation, but all of a sudden everybody has their own private interpretation. When you come out of religion, now everybody has their own truth, but even in religion, everybody has their own truth. So nobody knows the truth. So just have your own truth, right? Live your truth. But then now you got to figure out right from wrong. There is no right from wrong because everybody has their own truth. But if everybody has their own truth, then nobody can tell me I'm wrong. And it don't matter how bad it is. I'm trying to figure out if I'm being punished. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Because I certainly don't deserve this. I don't know what this is. Is this just part of a trial and tribulation I'm just supposed to overcome? Everything started looking good until, maybe I'm just here to die comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Because my struggle for the longest was just trying to find a stable place to live. But now I'm struggling with my health. It's like I can't win for losing. I was thankful to have my health, but now it's like, now that I then found some stability, now I got to deal with health issues. Like I said, my vitals are good, blood pressure good, heart rate good, oxygen level good, pulse good. Got good sugar levels, cholesterol is immaculate, blood pressure is immaculate. You know what I'm saying? Respiration is immaculate. But it's, my cellular levels are not. And that's my fight. Things that people don't think about. Because, when you go to the hospital, that's the first thing they're going to check is your blood pressure, your heart rate, just things that are like they said. You go to the hospital, your blood pressure is like 150 over 120, yeah, they're gonna, your life is in danger. You're probably gonna go blind, most likely. I mean, I have an iPhone 16. I don't know why my screen's so fuzzy. It don't make no sense. What is the purpose? Can you change the resolution on this or something? I don't know. But I didn't come here to really complain, but I am a little worried. I don't like to be worried, but I am a little frustrated is the word. A little irritated about it. But this is just a public service announcement. You need to get your blood levels checked. I would say no less than at least once a year, just because that's exactly, it could be transpiring in your body right now. Even if it's just a little off, because my neutrophils weren't too far off. They were in the danger zone, but not too bad, right? You should have, your neutrophils should be anywhere between 4.0 to 8.0. My neutrophils were like 3.8. So, not bad. But now they're 2.93, which means they've been down. They done declined. You know what I'm saying? So they declining. Slowly but surely, right? So yeah, it's no big deal. No big deal. I'm still alive and whatever. But that's how it starts. Just slowly, gradually. But over 15 years, that 2 point, it went from 3.8 to 2.93 to now it's at 1.5. Oh, it's not too bad. It's not. No, that's terrible. Like now you're really, it's declining. That's something to look into, especially if it's one thing if they stay stable, but now that they're declining, now, this could transpire over 15, 20 years and you just ignored it because it's not, it's just a couple points off, 0.2 points off, whatever. In fact, I think they were like 3.2 was it, which the doctor said himself, that's not bad, but it is something to, we'll monitor it, right? And so now they're at 2.93. Right, and my monocytes, they were all normal. All those levels were normal the last time I got checked, but then yesterday I got checked and they came back in the negative. That's how quick that can happen. And imagine, again, 4 or 5 years go down the road and they're even less. Even if they're not detrimentally dangerous, they're still in the red zone. That's something to be concerned of. I'm not trying not to put too much emphasis, but it is kind of alarming because they were normal. So who knows? That's the thing. It's like, who knows what they were at before they started declining? You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows how long these levels took to get in the danger zone? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly what the leukocytes are supposed to. I think it's all the same. I think when it comes to white blood cells, the normal range is between 4.0 to 8.0. So, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I started off at 8.0, and over time they just started declining and declining and declining. They were at 4.0 at one time, and now they're at 3.85. That's still in the danger zone. They started off okay. I mean, maybe the last time they got checked, they were just at the very cusp of normal levels. 4.0. Now they're at 3.9. I don't remember those exact readings for the monocytes and the lymphocytes, but I remember my neutrophils, what they were, and they went down. And then I've elevated levels of phthalates. So, you know what I'm saying? So, again, I don't know where they started off exactly, and I don't know where they started off getting declined, and I don't know where my phthalates started off when they started elevating, but nonetheless, that's the process. That's the process. So that's why you need to start gauging and monitoring your blood panels now. That way you have a good idea of what's going on with you and where it started from. Because I don't know where this started, when it started, but at least I'm noticing it. I don't even know where they were before they started declining. It could have been it could have went from a 5.0 and declined to a 2.5. That's half my neutrophils gone, or half my leukocytes gone, just like that in 3 months. That's major, which means there's something going on, which means I'm probably, just everybody needs to do it. Because it's transpiring. Because if you have something, it's already transpiring. It's just slowly doing it, though. It's like the turning of the earth, right? You don't notice it. You don't really notice it, but it's turning, right? According to modern science or whatever, the earth is turning, which I don't necessarily believe any of that, but nonetheless, it's like when somebody is like pinching your sacks, or like pinching, you don't notice it right away because it's just little by little, but over time you're going to start noticing something different in your body. So if you can catch it now and monitor it, now will be the best time. So I just wish you all let's say this, I bestow good fortune to you. I yeah, so may good fortune be upon all of you, good health, good wealth. Live well, y'all.